Yeah, should work now. There you go.
Hey, welcome to the WAN Show. Sorry about that. So, you know what? This is what happens when I leave you in charge.
Wow. Wow.
I think that's the only reasonable explanation.
I think this is what happens when you leave the Linus Tech Tips crew as responsible for anything technical pretty much ever.
No, I think this is what...
Hey, we need to stream something. Well, that's fine. We'll just, we'll use a streaming cart instead of our streaming PC that's dedicated but never works and has needed to reformat for months. That's no big deal. We'll just roll this over and then not set up an audio solution at all.
This is what happens when I leave you in charge. Yeah, that's,
or
that's
set up any of the software needed to make thumbnails, or pretty much anything at all. Yeah.
So
Sounds
we're
good.
live. You know what's hilarious is we actually did a sponsored live stream for this product. It's called the Go XLR.
Yeah. It just saved us.
And it just completely saved our bacon because we didn't have the drivers for our Focusrite thing on the one stream machine, and then we've had this ongoing issue with the other one where it just hasn't been stable. Like we've been dropping frames for some reason.
In very weird ways.
Yeah. So basically, I blame Jake. I really want to turn these headphones there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Okay, that was easy. Yeah, yay! And I shouldn't. I need to know if the swear button works. Hey, Luke. So we're gonna find out if that worked. Oh boy, we've got a great show for you guys today.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little late. It's probably gonna be a little short because I have big news. I am finally starting the interviews for the writing position for Linus Tech Tips. Actually, the couple of writing positions that we're hiring for. So it's taken me a long time to get through all the applications. There were a freaking ton of them. I'm actually not all the way through.
How many did you get?
But I got a couple hundred. What?
I'm at 2,000.
Oh, well, people must want to work for floatplane.
What?
They must
How
want
do you have
that
a
cool
couple
shirt.
hundred?
Okay, so the way that I got a couple hundred was that in order to even make it to my inbox, you had to write
a couple hundred got to you.
a complete sample script.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was like, there's something we're off here.
Every single one of them has already invested hours into their application, at least assuming that they expect to have any chance whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm interviewing anywhere between 15 and 20 of them.
I thought you meant you got that many resumes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't even accept resumes until people answered the skill testing questions.
Okay.
And then once they submitted their initial application, we sent them back a package that was like, here is all the work that you have to do in order to even apply. And I mean, the idea is you're trying to filter out the people that just aren't that into it. We're like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. Well, you know what? Working here is a lot of work. So
You did that to me.
I did.
Yeah. I actually had to find that email. I'm not even going to go into why, but I had to find that email recently.
I would love to know why.
U.S. tax stuff.
Oh.
I had to. Okay, you can guess this. I had to figure out. This part was easy. I had to figure out the names of all the employers that I had from 2010 to 2016. So I had to figure out when I started working with NCIX.
Got it.
It wasn't an employer relationship, but they're still interested in that, right? And I had to figure out when I was working at Canada Bread Factory.
Right.
Whether or not that was whatever, that doesn't matter. The next thing was I had to figure out all of the entry and exit dates of me into the U.S. between 2010 and 2016. It's funny because 2010 PAX, 2011 PAX, 2012 PAX, 2013
Everywhere.
2014 what? It just became a complete mess after that. The first few years were so easy, and then everything
Full
went downhill.
cluster.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Oh, it's so much fun.
That's crazy.
Anyway, so let's get into some tech news. That's kind of our New Year's resolution for the WAN shows. We're going to do that first, and then we'll talk because we got stuff to talk about actually.
Oh.
The coolest project ever.
It's actually really sweet.
Don't miss this video because
my
it's really cool. Anyway, I will. Oh yeah, what are we doing?
Fortnite success. Damn, Fortnite's success led to months of crunch time at Epic Games.
20 million PC gamers projected to switch to consoles by 2022. Not if I have anything to say about it.
And the 2021 Intel roadmap has potentially leaked.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh jeez.
All right, let's roll that intro. Assuming that it's here.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, is it
Oh
just?
boy. It's at the end. I don't know if it's playing. Wait. Why is this not visible? Wait. What?
No, it is. It's probably just white. Oh, what?
Is it not transparent? Wait, what? Order, move up? No.
No. I would just maybe go into properties and restart it.
Properties. Oh, wait, no, not loop.
Loop should work.
No, restart playback. But yeah, no, this should be right. No, it doesn't.
That's, yeah.
Probably doesn't have it mapped.
No.
Okay. Brought to you by Madrinas.
Carrying a couch, dropping it.
Oh wow, no, none of these are working. No,
Dying in a swamp.
That's not working. Brought to you by Displate, Mos, and Madrinas. Oh boy.
Hey.
Oh boy.
The setup
And
of
wait,
this.
our lower third isn't here either.
Perfection.
Yeah, our lower third's not here.
This is great.
You know what? It's fine. Wait, no, this is mapped. This is mapped even. Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, is the intro gonna work now?
Yeah, so you know that stupid thing where you've got a network drive and it's just X'd off, even though as soon as you double click it, like zero latency, boom, it goes right in. All I had to do was do that, and I bet the intro will play. Okay, hold on.
It's not.
No, that's not working.
Well, we
Whatever.
got part of the way there.
Pre-order a water bottle. LTTstore.com.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our first big news of the week. Fortnite's success led to months of crunch at Epic Games. Now, you know some people in the game development industry, don't you? Okay, so let's talk about what the situation is like at Epic Games, and then why don't we talk about what we know about working in the games industry in general? And okay, so basically, this was originally posted up by Polygon and was posted by Luke Savanage on the forum, and in a nutshell, Fortnite's explosive growth. Like, the thing is, every game company hopes that their game is going to be the next insert, PUBG, Bejeweled, something that Peggle, something that like really explodes, and they're basically just printing money. Anyway.
Talk about that later.
But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily prepared for it. And the thing is that you might think, okay, well, you built the game. Now, basically, it's all gravy then, right? But it is not that simple. And for Fortnite in particular, for a couple of reasons. Number one is as the game scales, their infrastructure has to scale is that even in a linear manner, or would it have to scale or more?
Probably scalar more, especially because they're going to get attacked and whatever.
Right.
Else. Yeah.
Furthermore, because it's a free-to-play model game, it's not like you just ship it, burn it to a CD, put it in the mail to the customer, and you're done.
Especially with Fortnite, they're releasing new content, they're editing the map, they're doing all this stuff constantly.
So basically, what the report says is that Fortnite's explosive growth led to months of intense crunch. And intense crunch is the gaming industry is no stranger to intense crunch. When you're coming up against a major patch or an expansion, a big DLC, or, of course, the launch of the game. When we were at Monolith, they were saying that, the number of people in that studio then, when they were working on DLCs and stuff, was nothing compared to the number of people that were crammed into that place in the weeks leading up to the launch, just finishing up all those last-minute things.
Yeah.
But normally, that doesn't happen indefinitely with no light at the end of the tunnel. So they're saying it led to months of intense crunch for Epic employees and contractors, some of whom said they felt extreme pressure to work grueling hours to maintain Fortnite's success and profitability, resulting in a toxic, stressful environment at the company.
I also believe only contract staff were paid overtime.
So while officially voluntary, working overtime was basically like an expected service to the company. This is what is being reported at the very least. Now, contract staff say they were paid overtime, But some employees reported suffering health issues after working consecutive months of 70-hour weeks. I mean, put that in context. Assuming that you're working 5 days, that would be 14 hours a day. You're basically going home, collapsing in your bed, getting up, and going to work. And you might say, well, yeah, but like all you do is sit at a computer. Well, for one thing, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, at Monolith in particular, did you know that they actually have their game developers go into their motion cap room and like
apparently
mocap
the
stuff?
reasoning
It's so
for that's
cool.
actually super cool.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. So the reasoning for that is because they don't want the armor and stuff that they can't be wearing during the mocap to clip.
Yeah.
So the game developers know that, so they'll like change things to make it work. Super cool.
And so mocap actors wouldn't be able to compensate for like, I'm like this jacked dude doing this move. You know, how do my muscles not clip on my other giant muscles? You know? So they can make sure that they do it. And some of them were actually like I was looking, I was
pretty
like,
good.
Oh, yeah, you got training.
Yeah.
So
I bet you they did specifically for that.
So yeah, those guys don't specifically sit at a desk. And furthermore, sitting at a desk is mentally fatiguing in a way that people who haven't had a desk job might not
Especially
actually
when
understand.
you're problem solving all day and creating things all day.
So this is a quote from one employee. I work an average of 70 hours a week. There's probably at least 50 to 100 other people at Epic working those hours. And I know people who pull 100-hour weeks. Just like, okay. The company gives us unlimited time off, but it's almost impossible to take that time. If I take time off, the workload falls on other people, and no one wants to be that guy. So back to what we were discussing about what the free-to-play model means for game developers in general. Games as a service sort of creates this constant refresh of deadlines. It's kind of like working here. So you launch a video at noon that day or whatever, and it's like you press live, and you're like, okay, are there any major technical issues? How's the audience sentiment? Okay.
On to the next one.
Video, here we go. Crunch time is all the time, and the biggest problem is that they're patching all the time. The executives are focused on keeping Fortnite popular for as long as possible because I'm sure that they're smart enough. Okay, not every executive is smart enough, but I'm sure they have an executive that's smart enough. I'm sure Sweeney knows to know that no game stays dominant forever. It doesn't happen. That's not a thing that exists. So it's all about making hay while the sun's shining. If you can make $3, $4, $5 billion on just 18 months of popularity, that's your chance. It's not like you can pace yourself and be like, okay, we're going to take it easy. We're going to make our $2 billion, and then we'll make the other $3 billion down. You might not get a chance. You might not get a crack at that. So we're not allowed to spend time on anything. If something breaks, like a weapon, we can't just turn that weapon off and fix it in the next patch. It must be fixed immediately. And all the while, we still have to be working on next week's patch. And you think about like how disruptive that would be to your workflow. Like, for example, like a real-time operating system, for example. If you have, like that's why, if you ever wonder why you click something sometimes in Windows, say, and your click doesn't register, and you go, well, like a click is the simplest thing ever. How is there a delay on that? It's because Windows is not a real-time operating system. Those do exist. They're mostly for embedded systems, things like medical devices, and for things like that where timing is absolutely critical. When that input happens, the response is triggered. But what that means is any other background processes, boom, they interrupted, done, you're done. And for something complex like Windows, it doesn't work that way. So you can end up with a significant backlog in anything that's going on in the background if you interrupt it. That's why anything that normal people interact with just can't work that way, because it's so disruptive. It's a bad analogy, terrible analogy. I actually don't care. The point is, getting interrupted sucks.
Yeah, I feel like you just are really into real-time operating systems right now.
Yeah, how far off was I?
I mean, on that?
Yeah.
No, that was fine.
Oh, the analogy was fine?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think it's okay.
Felt like I went too far into it.
I feel like you kind of like made it work, but it worked.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no worries.
Speaking of making things work, you make that shirt work.
Thank you. You can kind of see my nipples, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Well, but I mean, they're not bad nipples.
They're hiding behind the banner.
Like if they were kind of, like low nipples, then
like,
you're like, yeah, I don't know, dog. But, yep.
Another thing that I noticed in here is it says that contract staff were paid overtime. It specifically says that.
Right.
So I suspect salary staff were not paid overtime. That being said, I do suspect, in all fairness, that the salary staff are going to be getting wicked bonuses, especially with Fortnite raking it in. I hope so.
You might hope that, but
I
that's
don't
not
know.
always a guarantee. So Epic did make a statement. People are working very hard on Fortnite and other Epic efforts. Extreme situations such as 100-hour work weeks are incredibly rare, and in those instances, we seek to immediately remedy them to avoid recurrence. But they are acknowledging that someone might work a 100-hour work week.
Yeah.
On what planet does that make any sense? Even at your worst, I don't think you would have been anywhere near that.
I've been over that.
When?
Really, really early with the Titan launch and the forum at the same time.
Okay, right. Okay, so it happened once.
It's
in the
been
history
very
of LMG.
infrequent. Whatever. And that was, you also didn't tell me to. That was mostly me being like, I want to do these things. So that was fine. I'm not complaining, to be clear.
I didn't know that you worked that many hours that week anyway. So here's the thing. Salaried positions, and actually, just so you guys know, we work salary here at Linus Media Group. So salaried positions do come with the expectation that from time to time, you're getting it done. With that said, the flip side, the employer's side of that sort of arrangement is for the people that put in those hours, for the people that are the star pupils in the class. Hey, there's some kind of a reward for that.
It should flex back, or there should be a bonus,
Exactly.
or there should be something. That time should be recognized and compensated in some way.
Everything should be recognized and dealt with accordingly. Now, the other thing that is just kind of usually you won't find in an employment contract or anything, but the other thing that we see as part of the responsibility of both the employee and the employer is making sure that everyone's being reasonable.
And communicating about stuff.
So we'll see people working too many hours sometimes, and we'll say, hey, good job, gold star. Appreciate the effort, obviously. I'm not going to tell you off for it. Thanks. But hey, maybe you should go home and spend some time there. You know?
Especially so one thing I'll throw in, I've been doing a lot of interviews lately, and people have been asking me about the work culture that we have, because that's a big problem in the software development industry.
Right.
As we're talking about literally right now. But we just got turned off. Hey, it looks like kind of cool.
It's kind of dramatic.
Yeah.
I'll go turn that back on.
Is very few people have left Linus Media Group.
Do you want to stick with it? I feel like we're being interviewed.
I'm cool with it. This feels like 60 minutes or something.
I'm down. I'm into it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Sweet. But yeah, very few people have left, and I think that's a culture that Linus Media Group and Floatplane both want to continue. And in doing that, you don't really want to abuse your people all the time. Floatplane's had some pretty brutal crunches. I like to think that they weren't super long, but there have been some pretty brutal crunches. There's sort of one going on right now with especially one specific guy on the team, but his thing is almost done, and he's pushing through. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, you guys are still in very much startup mode. I mean, the thing is it's complicated, because on the one hand, the people work really hard, and that's amazing. But on the other hand, we're Yvonne was telling me the numbers for how far underwater we are on the project.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. The good news, though, and this is really exciting, is sorry, dang it, we're doing Floatplane news again. I swear,
Hey.
we'll do a real tech topic after this.
Yeah.
The good news, though, is that you guys are how close to launching the new transcode engine?
Very close. It's been supposed to be out this week, sort of maybe every week for the last while, but there's been very legitimate reasons that it's been delayed,
Right.
and we're trying to release something that's good and stable and stuff. Right now, it's the majority of it's in prod, just not activated, and there's just
In prod means it's on the production server,
Yeah.
it's live.
yeah,
Sort of.
It's just not being used. It's there though, and it's ready, and it didn't I mean, it hasn't really been turned on, but it didn't break anything, which is great. And we're like extremely close to putting it live. It just, the confidence level wasn't quite there. And there's a few little problems still to be cleaned up. So yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm like thinking of reaching out to a few people specifically and being like, hey, you might want to get ready because we're kind of there. Yeah.
And the good news is once we start bringing creators on, the situation should change very, very, very quickly.
Hopefully we won't just be hemorrhaging money all the time.
Yeah, we've seen, I mean, I wouldn't call it hemorrhaging. The project has been running for 2 years.
Yeah.
And like the bleed rate keeps going up, you know.
Which is kind of not the direction you want that to go in.
But
it's sort of I keep hiring people though, which is like the problem. But the team's in a really good spot right now. I'm really happy with everyone that's on the team, and I think we're doing great things currently. And if I didn't do that and we didn't hire more people and start losing more money, I think the project would be in a way worse spot, and we'd have like a never launched kind of issue. So.
We should talk more about like some of the like milestones that we've hit in the last little bit, like during the roast. Anyway, but first we're gonna do some more news topics because we owe you guys that. So here's an interesting one. Fang XP posted this on the forum, and it's based on some a John Petty Research TV gaming market study. So according to their latest report, more and more PC gamers will probably shift to consoles for a couple of reasons. 1, increasing GPU or graphics card prices. 2, the inclusion of PC-specific features like 4K and ray tracing in next-gen consoles, including keyboard and mouse support, variable refresh rate, and high refresh rate using HDMI 2.1. Streaming services like Google Stadia and the new all-digital Xbox One S. They're saying the coming of 5G will only bolster this new segment. That I am sort of wondering what the hell they're talking about. And they're saying that the majority of this will come from the low end, so under $1,000 full build cost.
In my opinion, this is almost moot. I know there's a difference, but we're getting the more we progress, the more they're just fairly cost-effective pre-built PCs that are limited to only doing certain things. And like literally everything that he just listed, like, yeah, I can use a keyboard and mouse, variable refresh rate. It's like, okay, it's a computer. Thank you.
So I guess what you're trying to say is at what point do we just call it PC gaming and stop pretending?
Yeah.
I see.
Like, I'm actually going to try to defend that argument a little bit because I think it's more actually phones and laptops and stuff that are actually causing this change, if anything.
PlayStation Game Store.
What?
Like you got your Steam,
your
Uplay, your
Origin,
Origin,
just put it on
your
PC?
PlayStation.
That would be amazing.
Why don't we just...
That would be the only game store that I would happily invite. You know, like every game store, it's like, ugh, another one?
Like, why don't we just stop around and just call it what it is?
Yeah.
Call it a computer.
Yeah.
Give me a graphics options slider.
Let's do it. Heck yeah.
Oh,
That'd be super cool. I remember
totally into that.
Remember forever ago when I had my like console drive idea?
Oh yeah. You were gonna take like an old console and just like insert it into the front of the computer, and you wanted to like mod it so that you could put like a NES, like a NES Classic or like NES Mini or like some kind of thing into it, and then the controllers were going to be hooked up into like the thing in the back or something, right?
Yeah, I had that idea of just doing it myself actually, but the reason why I came with that idea was because what I was like pseudo pitching, was that I wanted them to make like basically super premium Blu-ray drives for PC that were just branded Xbox and PlayStation that just ran the freaking games through your own computer.
So it's just a DRM scheme.
Yes.
Hardware DRM.
Whatever. You want to do your thing, whatever.
Look, I'll pay. Have you ever pitched that on WAN Show before?
Yes. This was years ago.
I didn't even remember that exact bit. This
was either garage or like early old house.
It still makes so much sense to just... Because compared to paying,
the hardware.
How much does a 1S cost anyway? Like I think a 1X is like $400 or $500, and I think a 1S is like $350. I want to say, can't remember.
$300 for a 1S, but 1S isn't even the newest one.
Right. Okay, but no, I just mean the basic one. So the 1S is the basic one.
Yeah.
So would you pay $250 for a DRM drive that just slips in the front of your thing and then you can play? Mind you, Microsoft is moving towards making Xbox games cross-platform for the most part anyway.
So Microsoft is starting to sort of solve that.
So a PS4 drive.
PS4 drive, honestly,
PS4 drive.
I probably would, because there's a huge amount of PS4 exclusives that are super cool. I borrowed the Works PS4 for a very long time.
I had it for over a year. I forgot we even had one.
And I like own a decent number of PS4 games because there was a lot of really cool single player RPGs that came out on PS4. God of War was amazing. I don't remember, that might have been on both consoles, but there was also a bunch that were specifically
pretty sure that's
PS4.
PlayStation specific. I could be wrong.
God of War? I think God of War might be both. But there was a number of PS4 only ones that were also super cool.
Never played a God of War game. Would like to.
Just play that one.
Just the first one?
No, that's not the. No.
Which
The like
one?
rebrand. It's just called God of War, but it's the newest one.
Oh, okay.
It's super, super good.
Oh, like a reboot kind of thing? Like
think so.
Like Tomb Raider.
It's quite different than the old
Got
games
it.
as far as I know. I didn't play the God of War games all that much. The old ones.
Kenji the Uke is asking for an update on the bottles. So if you ordered one in the first, I think it was 500, then it's either shipped or shipping very soon, because those ones were actually sitting in the warehouse ready to rock.
Yeah.
If you're one of the hundreds of other people who, remember guys, there is a message on there that says it's a pre-order. Those are on the boat now. Otherwise, we wouldn't have taken pre-orders. We wouldn't take pre-orders on anything that's not shipping now. So those are on the boat now. They should be here in about 3 weeks. If they are a little bit later, I apologize in advance. I'm sorry. We are actually really new to the whole physical merchandise thing. We're trying really hard, but there's a learning curve. Actually, did you know that Lloyd is in China right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's running around at a bunch of like major like manufacturer fairs. And he sent me back pictures of some sandals.
Oh my god!
Obviously, we would customize them like balls out, customize them.
I actually love a pair of those. That'd be
But
sweet.
would you wear an LTT
100%,
sandal?
yeah.
See, I was talking to my wife about it. Sorry, you know my wife. You guys all know her name. I forget. I always forget that she's like hosted TechLink now.
Yeah,
and
I
is,
was gonna
like,
say.
out there.
She's pretty good.
I was talking to Yvonne about it, and she was like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "What don't you know?" An
That'd be
LTT
sweet.
sandal, like
That'd
a
be
dad
sweet.
sandal. With
Yeah.
oh man.
That'd be awesome.
And people are like, yes, socks are gonna happen. This.
Oh my god, there's got to be a combo
Wait, no,
pack.
this is not shipped yet. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about this. But
There's got to be a combo. Also, I was wrong. It's God of War is only on PlayStation. So there's another example.
I knew a gaming thing that Luke didn't. We got to play Anno again.
It was fun.
So, yeah, fine. We'll talk about it later. Okay, you know what? Let's get the sponsors done. We'll do one more news topic, and then we can actually talk about stuff. Okay, so we need to talk about Anno. We need to talk about the streaming, the roast. We need to talk about, what else was, like, stuff we actually wanted to talk about? I don't remember. All right, we'll do one more topic, and then we'll jump into the news. So, Intel's 2021 roadmap apparently leaked. So this is over on hexus.net. And apparently, Tweakers.net claims that these roadmaps came from a Dell presentation earlier this year. So on mobile, we're going to be looking at Comet Lake H series offering up to 8 and 10 core processors on 14 nanometer.
14.
Ooh.
14.
10 core on mobile? What?
The whole thing's really funky.
Wait, Comet Lake H. Do they mean like the mobile H chips? Surely they couldn't. That doesn't make any sense. That's gotta be consumer. Hold on a second. I gotta bring this up.
Yeah,
that
I'm
can't
jumping
be right.
into the actual article.
That cannot be right. Okay, here, hold on. Let's
The picture's a little small. It's a little tiny. You might want to open it.
It says click to zoom, but it doesn't work. Thanks, Hexus. You tried.
Click image to zoom.
All right. U series H. Holy balls, that does actually appear to be the plan. Yep, that's 45 watt to 65 watt BGA. That is a big problem. Holy balls, that all they're going to be doing is tuning the turbo boost again. Apparently, we're getting a U series 6 core,
that's
though.
45 watt to
So
65 watt
that's
BGA.
pretty
That
new
is a big
series.
problem.
Sometime in...
Holy balls. That
all they're
does
going to be
actually
doing is
count
tuning the
as
turbo
a
boost
people
again.
plan.
Apparently, we're getting a U series 6 core.
That's 45 watt to
Audio
65 watt
Stream open?
BGA. That is a big problem.
Sometime...
Sorry, guys.
Thanks, floatplane chat.
My bad.
Oh no.
Wow, that seems like a terrible plan.
Yeah.
Especially, have you seen some
Well, they're just kind of screwed right now.
Have you seen some of AMD's mobile stuff lately?
Mm-hmm.
They actually have some legitimate looking mobile devices coming down the pipe. Like we've got one from Lenovo on the shelf over there for a review that we're like, wow, this is like a sexy AMD laptop. What? Because like the thing is,
It's been a long time.
never mind long time, never. When did AMD make any sense in mobile? Turion? You gotta be kidding me.
Button, it's still gonna drive me nuts. It's been an extremely long time. I remember, like, even when I used to work at Best Buy, way back, the AMD options were the cheap, crappy ones in terms of laptop. At that time, desktop, they were actually pretty decent, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. People are upset about what we were saying when we were looking at the roadmap. Basically, 10 core, 14 nanometer. It's nuts because there's no power savings or like a nominal one. So all they're doing is just stuffing more power hungry cores into this thing. So all they're doing is playing around with the turbo boosts and hoping that the notebook manufacturers can figure out how to cool the bloody things.
I could be wrong, and someone at Intel might be able to explain their way through this, but it feels like they're trying to throw some interesting numbers out there to keep people buying things while they try to figure out their manufacturing process problems.
It seems that way, but like apparently they just don't think they're gonna have it figured out. Like they've got
for a while.
Like they've got 10 nanometer stuff coming, but only U series. So H series is not getting any 10 nanometer until at least 2021. That's nuts.
That's wild.
That's funny. Who's this? Frodo Nubbits on floatplane says, you guys should make a Holy Balls shirt. We did a long time ago,
We had
actually.
one, and there's a cat on it.
Yeah. Probably won't happen again. Didn't sell very well.
No.
But
I
hey,
don't think very many people would actually like wear that.
that's what happens when your catchphrase kind of sucks.
Speaking of actually wear that, do you guys like having this whole thing, or would you prefer, I got a mirror up here, just this logo but like over here?
Okay. So for context, we've discussed it internally. This was the plan. This was the design we all agreed on.
Yeah.
And then we got it, and we were like, it looks very internet startup.
It really does. Looks straight out of Silicon Valley.
Yep. Wow, people are saying they love it. But remember, this is like
That's
floatplane
chat.
Maybe we should probably talk to YouTube chat. We need an objective analysis of the design here. Wow, YouTube chat moves so fast.
Should we
cannot
do a straw
even
poll?
see it.
Should we do a straw poll?
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you prepare a straw poll while I jump
What do
through
you
our
think for options?
sponsors here?
Just the logo in the corner and how it is now? Those two options?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's just do two options. So today's video is brought to you by Mos Backpacks. Oh, hey, where's my backpack? Hey, look at that. I don't even have to use the sponsor one. Here's my backpack. I like it. I use it all the time.
That's a pretty good.
I could afford a different backpack, but I don't because I really like this one. This is the old one. It doesn't have all the features of the new one, but I like this one better. Actually, I don't. I just like the color because the samples they send to the new ones are black. So yeah. So this is the new one. It's black. It's all stealthy. It's the black pack. It's the black pack. Black pack.
It's such a wacky name. It's
Yeah.
a great backpack.
I don't see where they were going with that.
It's a great backpack.
Is it like? Do you think they intended it to be a pun?
Oh, maybe.
Because
I'm
it's a
not
backpack
sure.
that's black.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, they also have the grande version of it that fits up to a 17-inch laptop. They're made out of 300D nylon for the exterior and 1000D nylon for the interior for water resistance. And the black pack fits laptops up to 15.6 inches. They're made that one's made of ballistic nylon that gives it abrasion and tear resistance. It's got a built-in rain fly to provide extra padding for your electronics when not in use. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever, it's good. I like it. Both of them come with mounting for the water resistance Reach C, Reach Plus power adapters and a 5-year warranty. You can get 20% off their current stock until it's gone. Limited quantities at the link right there. Boom.
I'm pretty sure the rain thing is, because I used to have one, is a cover that you take out and put over your bag.
But that doesn't provide extra
The
padding. That might
threw
just
me
be a
off.
separate talking point that
the
put
pad.
together.
Oh, I bet you what that is when you put it back. If it's not raining and it's in the bag, it probably provides padding.
Got it. Just don't get used to just throwing your bag down when it's in there, and then have it on.
It'd be a rainy day. You put it on. You toss
Yeah.
your bag. It's bad combo.
Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Also brought to you by Madrinas. Madrinas coffee is coffee for fuel. Organic cold brew coffee. Yep. In a convenient 15-ounce grab-and-go can with a flavor for everyone. They offer sweet and creamy flavors like their mocha or caramel, or bold flavors like their cold brew black. We actually have a permanent item on their store, the Lambo Roast.
Which
So
you
guys,
can smell. It
go
smells
check
good.
it out. It actually does smell really good. Head over to madrinascoffee.com/Linus to get 50% off your entire order with code Linus. The first 25 people who use code Linus will get a free Madrinas Coffee Micro Roast. Fun. If you have any questions about the various flavors of cold brew or micro roast, Shlomo from Madrinas Coffee will be in the chat ready to answer your questions through direct messages. Finally, our last sponsor for the day is Displate. Where are they?
They're back here.
There they are. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Hey, we have new designs to show off. Displate is a magnetic-mounted metal print company, and these magnetic-mounted metal prints are durable. You don't need any power tools to hang them. They've got over 260,000 different arts spanning a bunch of different styles and influences. And with their easy magnetic mounting, there are no holes in the wall, and they're easily replaceable. They plant 10 trees for every Displate purchased, and you can head to our link below and use offer code LTT to save 15%. That's lmg.gg/DisplateWAN. Really, Luke? Wow. You're going to be like that. Alrighty then. All right. So do we have any other news topics that we have to do?
I don't think so.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Vega finally beats RTX. Vulkan strikes again. So this was posted by BlueJ614 on the forum. The original source is WCCF Tech. AMD's RX Vega 64 apparently outperforms the RTX 2080 by up to 20% in the Vulkan-enabled game World War Z. The benchmarks were conducted with an overclocked Core i9-9900K at 5.2 gigahertz. This is to eliminate any possible bottlenecking. It drives me freaking crazy when people in the comments flip out about, you guys are using an overclocked CPU, your results aren't realistic. Okay, the reason is that you're trying to alleviate bottlenecks elsewhere in the system so you can see the maximum potential difference in performance between the components you're actually trying to test. Anyway, at 1920 by 1080 with Vulkan enabled, AMD managed to take all 3 top spots with its Radeon 7, Vega 64 liquid-cooled, and Vega 64, and the Vega 64 outpaced the RTX 2080 Ti despite costing half as much. nVidia closed the gap at 1440p. At 4K, there still isn't a blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's one game. If we were to take, like, Intel's performance in Counter-Strike Source as, like, an overall indication of Intel's dominance in gaming performance, we would be silly.
It'd be pretty skewed.
Yeah. If we're like,
aggressively skewed.
you know what? Intel outperforms AMD by, like, 30-40%. Doesn't actually, yes, and CS source, yes.
Yeah.
But
Go.
yeah, it may or may not be specifically the Vulcan-ness of it. I mean, it's a neat headline,
It's
but
cool.
I probably wouldn't read too much into it if
Yeah.
you have seen that headline until we start seeing Vulcan across a broad sampling of games, giving AMD that kind of a performance advantage. Yeah, I probably wouldn't read too much into it.
LTX.
Yeah, what about it?
There's less than 40 BYOC tickets left. So if you want to bring your own computer and show up at the event and have a LAN center thing and all that kind of fun stuff, get a freaking ticket because you're running out of time. Also, volunteers. They want people to apply to volunteer. I believe that's in the description down below if you want to check that out if you're not on Twitch. And they will be getting back to current applicants in May, if you're wondering why you haven't received a response yet. And also, if you bought a ticket and want to volunteer, they'll refund your ticket.
Oh, really? Cool.
Apparently.
So the way we're structuring things is that either an LMG member or brand partner will be managing the overall operation of a booth, and then volunteers will help as needed to make the area a success. So we're looking for between 60 to 80 talented volunteers in total. We've already got 20. Shifts will be either 1 8-hour day, and then with 1 day to enjoy the show, or a 4-hour shift each day, and then time to take part in the expo for the other half of the day.
Nice.
Duties will include scanning tickets, handing swag out, recording entries, answering questions, directing people building PCs, disassembling PCs, running around, watching stuff, and more, I'm sure. All volunteers will receive free admission as described, BYOC not included, the LTX merch pack, shirt, pen, lanyard, meals during your shift, reference letter from us for your help, and of course, our undying gratitude. Gratitude never dies, just becomes undead. Apologies to the volunteer applicants that Jono and Colton interviewed a few weeks ago. We will update you guys in May once we have a firmer grasp on schedules and how many people we need for each booth.
There we go.
Yeah, man, it's happening soon.
Yeah.
Like,
And our team is coming out
we've got a lot to
to
prepare.
hang out at LTX. I'm so excited.
I'm so stoked, especially because some of the special projects that LTT has been working on in order to have them there at LTX are starting to come together. So
Oh man.
you tried one today that I hoped was going to be pretty cool.
Like 25% is cool. I would have hoped it would have been 25% as cool.
So basically, Jake, mostly Jake, has been working on a first-person view. The idea, okay, so it came from racing games are fun, and a couple of the really amazing experiences that we've had at LTX in previous years, where we lugged 16K gaming to the first one, and then when we did the ultra-wide version, the 10K gaming, one we brought that one as well, and we hooked up racing games, which was pretty sweet.
It was really cool.
The ultra wide one with the racing wheel and the big screen experience, unlike anything most people will ever experience. But the bezels, and it's all virtual. It's just video games. So next level stuff happened at LTX 2019, and this video is going to be freaking sick. We're using first-person view racing goggles. Okay, so these are for drones typically, but people have been known to hook them up to RC cars, and we want to build, well, not want to, did build the IRL racing game experience.
It's so cool. Oh my goodness.
And it's I don't even know why it's so different from playing a video game.
But it's very notably different. We both expressed similar things about how just the fact that it is actually real seems to impact you a lot more.
Yeah. And the learning curve, if you know how to drive,
super fast.
0. You're just oh, I'm driving. The latency is incredible. So
It's
DJI
super
sent over their FPV racing goggles. Just unbelievable.
It's
So
quite the experience.
So at LTX, so the first part of the video is going to be the proof of concept, which we finished today. The second part of the video is going to be dialing it in, getting 4 of them going, building a track. So there's going to be a sick track.
There's got to be a jump.
There's got to be a jump.
Oh my goodness, there's got to be a jump.
If we don't have a jump, then we failed.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to have a jump.
Cool.
So we're gonna build a track, and then we're going to do it as more like a step-by-step guide. Okay. So guys, if you're into this sort of thing and you just have unlimited money lying around because you're dead mouse or something, here's how you do it, step by step, to build your own FPV car, complete with racing wheel and pedals and brakes and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy.
One of the craziest things for me is in VR games, I don't get the effect. Like if you play a roller coaster game, I don't get the whoa, I should be feeling G's as I go around this corner. But driving that little car,
you feel like you have to lean.
It really feels like you're trying to lean into the corners and oh man.
And
the
when
realism is surprisingly very high.
When you're playing on a monitor, you never feel oh, I just need to like peek around this corner.
Yeah.
But I
Oh
was moving my head
goodness.
constantly, even though there's no head tracking
It's
in
fixed.
this. Yeah.
Oh man, that was wild. Super, super cool.
Super fun.
I was not expecting to do that today.
It's so much better than I expected.
Okay.
What else we got going on?
I think we're out
today?
of topics.
That's fine. I don't need any more topics. Who needs topics anyway?
Anno?
Yeah. I need to upgrade my freaking computer.
Yes, I was hoping you were gonna bring that up.
So, okay. I loved the original Anno game.
Who has to upgrade the computer for Anno? I'm sorry. It's just he's a computer man. He can't run Anno. It's so laggy. It's so bad.
Dick.
I'm sorry. You can go.
So I loved the original Anno game. Over here in North America, it was called 1602 AD, and I played that a ton as a kid. Like,
Was there a different release?
way too much? And in Europe, it was called Anno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a German game.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it was like one of the first German games to really break out on an international
That
level.
makes sense because when I look up things for it, there's a lot of German forums, which I was kind of surprised by. That's interesting.
Like
Okay.
the amount it sold in Germany compared to the population of Germany relative to the rest of the world, it's like, so like basically everyone in Germany played this, and apparently it was close to 50-50 male and female.
That's cool.
Yeah, because the
You don't get that often.
The thing with Anno is that it's low pressure gameplay. Almost nothing is not reversible. So if you kind of go down the wrong path and you're not successful or whatever,
fix
it's
it.
like, "Oh, regression." Oh, all right. It's not like that. So anyway, I picked up the new Anno game because Luke was over and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got it. Jono got it. Colton got it." And I was like, "Oh, peer pressure. I guess I better get it." It's like $80
It's-
Canadian. Ridiculous. Anyway, so I got it, fired it up, and on my super nice still monitor,
Audio
100
just went out of sync,
What?
apparently. Whoa. Yeah. Look,
Oh, what happened?
you can see it. The OBS capture is delayed.
Oh.
Talk. Watch your mouth move.
Hello? That
See?
looked okay. What?
Really?
I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay. Is it bad?
Apparently there's audio desync. I don't know necessarily how much.
Oh, okay.
It looks out of sync slightly to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that right
We'll
now.
just go with it.
I'm just going to go like this. Okay, so
we're
now I
too
won't bother you
Yeah.
guys.
Now no one can
Yeah.
tell. Solved.
So anyway, so I got it, and Luke was over, so he's never played an Anno game before.
Yeah.
But you had tooled around for like 20 minutes or something,
I
right?
played for less than an hour,
Okay.
and I had watched like part of a starting guide video.
Okay, got it. So basically, as someone who had actually played the game before, I was surprised at how applicable my knowledge was, given that it's been like 20 years since the first one or something stupid
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
and one of the really interesting things to me was I watched you play the original one for a little while, and even stuff like certain buildings, I was able to perfectly recognize because they like. I don't know. I've seen some reviews. Obviously, I didn't play the other ones, but I've seen a lot of reviews refer to it as like a return to form and all this kind of stuff. And I think they really tried to go back to the roots of that exact game that you happened to be playing at that time,
Right.
Which is kind of hilarious. but yeah, it seemed to work out.
So anyway, I fire it up on my still pretty nice monitor, so 100 hertz, 3440 by 1440, and I'm like, Luke, it's weird because I find like the menu's really laggy. So I've got G-Sync, which means that it's a little harder to pick up on like frame rate fluctuations. But I was probably running at like 45 FPS.
Or less.
It probably
Or less.
probably dipped below that.
I think it was below that on average. I think it dipped below 30.
Probably.
I think so. It was pretty bad. And there was certain there were certain interactions that were specifically very difficult because of the frame rate, which is wild. It was kind of painful to watch.
So so he's like, "Yo, what kind of hardware are you running in here?" I'm like, "Yeah, Titan, X, Maxwell." So something a lot of people might not realize is that I had
and you were running at ultra wide and great settings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I
could've
was
tuned
running
it
it like
down.
ultra. Well, I tuned it down a fair bit when we played multiplayer the next day, and it was like 40, but not like 45.
Okay.
All
right.
Oh, I just broke this. Dang it! Why do I fidget with pen things? This is a stylus. Oops. Dang it. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people might not realize this, but in the last 7 years, I have either had an infant or a young company to deal with, and I haven't had a lot of time to play games. Anno, in particular, is a massive. It's a black hole that consumes time itself.
I think it's, even though it's real time, I think it might rival Civ.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty crazy, especially if you kind of take your time with things. Yeah.
And in multiplayer, I couldn't find anyway a way to change the game speed. So we were playing at 1x game speed, which
The income felt pretty slow.
yeah, well, you also just weren't as good at it as me. So
Wow.
There's that.
Wow. Wasn't I further ahead?
Whose island's better?
Wasn't I further ahead?
Further ahead of what? I had money.
Population?
Yeah.
Tech?
I had money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't the
what do you
goal
mean
of the
tech?
game to get a certain
So,
amount of citizens
I
of
was
a certain type?
I was actually being nice to you. I had the artisan class 5 minutes before you said anything. Sorry.
5 minutes in the grand scheme of that whole night was not very much. And I probably got more of them when I got them.
Yeah, but you probably also ran into a bunch of trouble where you didn't have any workers for your friggin' factories.
That's fair. That did happen.
Yeah, that did happen, didn't it? Yeah.
I didn't know they needed 200 people.
So who
That's
had
crazy.
the money? Who was always buying stuff from your warehouse?
Which I realized
So that you'd
now
have
that
any
I've played
money.
further was a terrible idea. I should have just built with it. So that does not make it better. That does not make it better at all. I should have kept all of that. I have now learned that was not a favor in the slightest. Oh my goodness.
Did you or did you not need the money?
I did.
It's not my fault that
But
you
I should have
needed the money.
I should have just built worker houses. It would have solved the problem. And on a recurring basis. Whatever, man. It was fun though. And then I thought my apartment building lit on fire, and then I had to run away.
Space Monkey says, Linus good at a game. What? You know,
You joke about it quite a bit.
yeah, oh, actually, I played Apex on stream today. The problem is
I
that...
watched a little bit of it.
I broke it worse. The problem is that newer game genres are a bit of a problem for me. So if I am dropped into a battle royale...
I don't even think that's true.
It depends. So Apex Legends has a lot of gameplay elements, or Fortnite, for example, the whole building thing, where I have to...
Dude, I can't do the building thing at all.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I have to completely learn, a new skill set in order to play this
refuse
game.
to play that game because of the building thing.
And my whole thing is, I don't mind learning to play a new game, but I don't really have the time to learn an entirely new genre, because by the time I sit down and sort of fumble my way through it, meanwhile, all the kids that are spending 30 hours a week playing this game know the entire map and every element of the gameplay like the back of their hands. By the time I fumble my way through how to play it at all, because I just don't have
Pick
time
up
to
an
sit
item.
down and it's like a kid's crying or something, and
Something's going on.
I get interrupted, and then
messages.
I can't get back to it. I've got to do some job interviews or something, and then
'Cause
2 weeks later I look at it again. I'm like, oh, I kind of forget exactly how to do this. So if you just drop me in a pure shooter, okay, I won't know the maps and that sucks, but I can get some kills.
You can click on
fine.
heads.
I can click heads, no problem. If you drop me into something where there's very realistic recoil, for example, yeah, I do have trouble with that.
But then a lot of it, a problem with a lot of that, I think what it's coming down to is, I'm not trying to toot your horn, but it's time investment with a specific mechanic. Where with recoil, a lot of games that have heavy recoil, you need to learn the recoil of that specific gun.
Yeah.
So that just takes time. You'll learn patterns of recoil stuff and all that. That just takes a huge amount of time investment.
Or even research, because you can just look something like Counter-Strike. You can just go find resources that'll tell you, okay, as soon as you start holding down on an AK, move down about this much.
Like a 7
Yeah.
that you draw, and
Yeah.
it's in a certain speed. And because PUBG, didn't we win our first 2 games that you ever played?
Yeah. We won the very first one. I don't know if we won the second one too, but we won another one that night.
Yeah, and we only played 3 or 4 games, and we won.
You did
we won
carry
2.
pretty good. I did do some damage though.
You did some damage, and in PUBG, in Apex, you can bring people back and all this kind of stuff. Healing's a lot easier. In PUBG, it's not, and you were alive till the end, and you were making calls, and you were landing shots. Like it was the first freaking game you ever played, and you were doing damage. That's honestly, I think you did better in those first 1 to 4 games than most people that I play with that are actively playing modern games. It's just that you don't have a lot of time investment.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to toot your horn.
And so the thing is, like, if I have the prerequisite skills already, like PUBG, I found really a lot like playing paintball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So like the tactics were 100% there.
Yeah, it's just that I don't have, but like, I need someone to like tell me what ammo goes in what gun. Like, I'm not an ammo head. I don't know, like, oh yeah, like an MP, whatever. Yeah, I've got to get this caliber. I didn't know what scopes fit on anything or whatever. So as long as people like tell me, okay, yeah, pick that one up. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, how do I mount the stock? How do I put this on? Like, okay, sure. As long as I don't have to learn the gameplay mechanics, then like honestly, it's not that bad. And RTS games, I actually played a lot more than FPS games when I was growing up. I was like a Warcraft 2 kid. I played way too much. Like, you want to play Warcraft 2 with me? I will slay you.
Probably.
I promise you.
I was too young.
I will slay you and your friend.
I've played Warcraft 3 though.
No problem.
Let's do Warcraft 3.
So Warcraft 3 is a funny one. I actually played it a fair bit the summer that it came out in French, because I was on an exchange to Quebec for like my thing, and the kid that I was staying with got it. And Warcraft 3 was a game that was way too demanding for my home PC to run at that point. It's like
it's a recurring theme. Fortunately,
So what I did was I played a fair bit of it in front. So amélioration terminée, you know, like upgrade complete. So I know all the like stupid. I probably played it more in French than I did in English.
That's funny.
So anyway, when I went home, I spent all the money that I made that summer on building my very first gaming PC, and I use the term gaming PC pretty loosely. It had GeForce graphics, GeForce 4 MX 440, chipset graphics. But it was good enough to run Warcraft 3, so I actually bought myself a copy of that, which was a lot of money for me at that time. It was like $60. It was a brand new game. And I played it like a fair bit. I played but I mostly played campaign. I never really got into the competitive side. But
I'm going to interject here for a second.
Yeah.
If you want to play some Warcraft 3 again,
I'll play some Warcraft 3.
My brother and I decided to download it for fun.
Yeah.
There's still an active community.
Oh, I'm sure there's an active.
A very active.
Oh, Blizzard games never die.
We downloaded some maps. I don't remember exactly what it's called, so sorry, but there's a website that you can Google very easily. It's like Frozen Maps or something like that.
Yeah.
Or War Maps, I don't remember. But you can download maps and you can host games, and they will fill like immediately. Like there's a very active player base that is ready to go into games.
The thing that is tough about games that have been around forever is that
Masters.
Yes. Everyone's like really good. So I didn't play Supreme Commander for like 4 or 5 years or something stupid like that. And then I tried to drop in on the FA Forever community, and I was like, yeah, I probably still know how to play this game. Dead. So key mechanics have changed a fair bit. Like, I didn't like Forged Alliance. I really preferred vanilla Supreme Commander. I didn't like how fast the commanders were. All of a sudden, instead of being like highly vulnerable, they were like these speed demons, and they were more like combat units instead of like builder units. And I was like, oh, well, I thought that was the whole point of the game, was that he was, or she, robot, I don't know, was that your commander was very vulnerable. So I didn't really enjoy the gameplay, and I was at a time when my life was starting to get busier, and they added another race. And so I didn't want to learn to play a new race, and I didn't know how to deal with the new race, and I was like, oh man, I thought 3 races was enough. So
there's that problem. Like I was talking to someone about Classic WoW recently, about how it's like a mastered game. And when it comes out, it's going to be kind of problematic. Someone was like, oh, are you going to PvP? I'm like, well, no.
This was an interesting conversation that we were having actually last week, because I assumed you were going to like play the out of Classic WoW.
And I will play it, I'm sure. I'm going to be poking around the community and seeing what's going on. I don't know how deep I'll get into it. purely because of like a question someone asked me was like, are you gonna go into PvP? It's gonna be really fun to have like an older WoW PvP setup. It's like, well, yeah, but I play a warrior, so I'm just gonna get tooled because all of the like very abusable mechanics of certain other classes are going to be very abused because everyone knows what they are. And like warriors, well, that's great because we're gonna be super crazy overpowered at specific things in PvE. Sweet, but that's also kind of weird.
Right.
It's not the same. Like back in the day, you and your group had to try to struggle through this thing that nobody really knew anything about, and the default gear that you think you should take is actually crap, and all the good gears like blues and greens and all this weird stuff. And now everyone knows the perfect thing all the time, no matter what. And there's no thought or experiment that really has to go into it.
Right.
Everything's all perfectly mapped
Well,
out.
what you were calling it was a solved game.
Yes.
Like in the
there we
same
go.
sense that like tic-tac-toe is a solved game.
Yeah.
So I think you were telling me that there's basically down to like how long to hold the button for the direction that you walk, like the fastest way to
It's
level up to
called
level 60.
Azeroth
inside.
Autopilot, and it will tell you exactly who to talk to, exactly where to walk, everything.
Right.
Everything. And it will just
Like the minimal number of clicks,
basically
basically, to get to level 60.
and like that's not what it was like.
That's
Yeah, like,
not gaming.
no. So
That's gaming the system.
I'll play it because I'm sure my dad and my brother will play it, and it'll be cool to hang out with them and stuff. But
You might have more fun if you found people who have never played WoW to play with.
almost certainly, if they don't dive super hard into online guides, and they
Right.
just like try to play fairly ignorant,
Right.
which is
And you just kind of play along.
yeah,
Right.
which is kind of weird in its own right. If they release Burning Crusade, that would be great because Burning Crusade, as far as I know, is not solved in the same way that Classic is.
People want your straw poll for the shirt.
Ah, yes, I do have that.
Let's see if your screen cap works.
Rip.
Hey, look at that. Oh,
Not exactly what I was hoping to see, because I was hoping a more skewed poll would show up.
yeah, this is pretty, ooh. That doesn't really tell us a solid answer.
No.
So, all right then. Thanks, guys.
One thing that I have a problem with is, like, the logo also doesn't look completely 100% like chill. If you know what I mean?
Looks a
like
little
if you
corporate.
Yeah, if you put the logo in the corner, it's still gonna look like a corporate business shirt.
Yeah. What if you took off the logo and just did the word mark?
Then it's Facebook.
If you hadn't told me that, I would never have seen it.
But other people do.
We're a very different blue.
It's still blue. It's pretty bad. It got pointed out by one of the members on the team. I believe it was Yuki. And like
I
the
don't
second he
know.
said it, I was like, yep. It starts with an F. It's white text. It's on a blue
It's
background.
a different F.
Not by much. It is different.
It is different.
It is 100% different. But like,
You know what? Forget it. Let's just leave it the way it is. People who love floatplane and want to support floatplane will get one, and people who don't, well, they won't.
to be clear, there's not going to be very many.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like handed out at LTX.
It's not like this is like an LT t-shirt design where we're like printing 1,000 of them or
No.
something like that. It's,
I think it's 150, and of that 150, there's like allocation to LMG, allocation to floatplane employees, allocation to creators. So there's like really not going to be very much, because we don't suspect people are going to be way too into it.
people want to know when they can buy them. I don't know if we will put them for sale. I think were you going to have some at LTX or something? But I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
That's the only plan right now.
I think we see it as mostly like a promotional thing, like
Yeah.
give it away.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else that we wanted to talk about today?
I don't think any official news topics. No.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I guess that's it.
Cool.
See you again next week. Same bad time, same channel. Bye, guys.
If that button stops working.
Yeah. Then we're gonna have a real bad time. Oh right, this doesn't work. Okay, we're just gonna stop.
All right. That's it. Bye.